Thank you all very, very much for having me. It's such an honor and such a pleasure. I came across the ocean yesterday because our lives and civilization are in great danger. And I'm not talking about, forest fires or floods or droughts, nor even of systemic racism. I'm talking of a danger of our society that is epitomized by this image. It's epitomized by this image. It's epitomized by this. We are heading across the Western world towards a society where a personal carbon budget will be administered and it will control every element of our very lives. The water you use, the time you take to shower, the grocery shopping you do, the food you eat, the way you heat your house, your travel expenses, everything will be controlled by the personal carbon budget. And that's not the only way under which our civilization is under attack. We are going to see the introduction of central bank digital currency, which will make ADMs disappear. Just your fingerprint will suffice to make payments, and everything will be controllable and administrable by the government, which will then control what food you can buy and what you cannot buy anymore, how long you can spend the money for, because it will have an expiration date. You cannot save money. It will be very difficult to save money, and cash will disappear, as well as the anonymity by which we can pay or sell stuff. And that again will play into the censorship that will increase. Social media companies are intimately watching everything that we're doing. Google is watching it, and fake news patrols, as they call it, we know it's not fake news, but they label things as fake news, and we won't be able to share it. We won't be able to share information, to gather information, and the government will be in charge of what happens in your conversations, what happens in your mind. And that is something that plays into the next step of globalism that I want to introduce to you or explain. This is the fight we're fighting in Europe, it's the fight you're fighting in the US, which is public-private partnerships. That's what the World Economic Forum is all about. That's the end of democracy, because it means that big business and big government go hand in hand and push away the small and medium-sized businesses, push away the middle classes, and make it impossible for citizens to have their say in the way their lives are being regulated. And there's another element here that must be mentioned. We've got it in Europe, especially since the Biden administration, because of all the instability that it has caused in the world and in the Middle East. But also here in the US, you have uncontrolled immigration, which dilutes organic communities, the society that we're living in, and makes us all as citizens weaker. It makes us weaker because it destroys the fabric of our society by introducing not merely cultural clashes, but also severe economic trouble, because the cost of mass immigration is unheard of. It's very, very high. And of course, housing crisis, all these crises that are related to mass immigration are being brought upon us by the very same people that are taking from us our ability to speak freely, our ability to spend our money, our ability to control our lives and share things on the internet and go about our lives undisturbed. So there's one final element here that must be mentioned. In the Netherlands, children from the age of 11 onwards are invited to take hormonal therapy and change their gender. My party has been the only party in the Dutch parliament and in the Dutch society to fight against this. We've introduced motions to stop this because it's a travesty that we cannot allow to happen. We cannot allow this to happen. We're not going to have this continue in this country. We've got elections on the 22nd of November, and this is one of the big items that we are putting into our campaign, because we have to protect our children against these people. So these are the people that we're up against, the globalists. This is the grand strategy that they have for destroying our societies and turning us into a matrix kind of social credit system with mass surveillance where all our freedoms will have vanished. And I'm here today not just to tell you all the dangers that we are facing in Europe and that you are facing in the US, but also to give you an attempt at a message of hope. Because what we've been doing in the Netherlands, I am the founder of a new political party. It's called the Forum for Democracy. We've been organizing rallies across the nation. We've been organizing events all over the place. And we are currently the biggest party in the Netherlands in terms of members. We have more members than fit into the Dodgers Stadium. And the great thing about it is that when people get together physically, which is why the lockdowns were such a crime, but when people get together physically, something magical happens, and people actually feel that they can change things. They step out of the feeling of isolation and devastation that big government and the globalists are pushing on us, and they feel that they're empowered. So this is the Netherlands, this is my country. It's a tiny country in the Netherlands, but just to give you a comparison, the alternatives for Germany, Germany of course is a country that is 6-7 times larger than the Netherlands, have 30,000 members. We, the Forum for Democracy, have 60,000 members. That's how serious this is. That's how serious we are. And that's just another thing, because one of the reasons that I'm so excited to be here today in Florida, so close to Mar-a-Lago, is that I found this party. The reason I set it up was that I attended the Republican National Convention in Cleveland, Ohio in 2016. And I was one of the first supporters of Trump in the Netherlands. And I wanted to bring his message back to Europe. And let's pray that he will be re-elected in next year. And we'll have 4 more years of stability in the world and inspiration and the fight against the globalists. So that's my message to the president. I really hope you'll be re-elected, and I perhaps we'll be able to have a chat later on today or tomorrow. So what I've been doing in Europe is try to build an alliance, because we have to cooperate. That's why we call our movement the GLOBAL Anti-Globalist Alliance, because if they're going to be global, we're going to be global too, right? There's nothing they can do that we can't. So we set up a team of people, like-minded parties in Hungary, in Bulgaria, in Czech Republic, in Sweden. We're even talking to people in Germany, in France, Belgium, Italy. And we set up the Budapest Declaration in August of this year, where we lined out the fundamental principles that we all share, because that's so important, that you know what you're sharing, that you know what you're up against. You dare to identify the enemy, the globalists, what we're fighting for: sovereignty, individual freedom, keeping cash money, no unrestrained immigration, supranationalism. We're all against that. And the great thing about it is, you see me here, and I was really, really struck by this, because if we can't find a way, and I'm also stretching this to all of you, if we cannot find a way to work together and build a network that is equally strong as the network that we're up against, then we're bound to lose. So there's 4 things that I want to share to you that we've been doing, not just at the political level, but at the societal level, grassroots movement. The first is that we, as a party in the Netherlands, Forum for Democracy, we've launched an app. We are using the very technology that they are using to curtail our freedom to recapture it. The Forum app currently has over 2,000 entrepreneurs, like-minded people that will be very happy to trade with one another, that will take job applications, that will help each other with products, because social economic life is key. It's not just ideology, it's not just going to be politics. We have to make sure that we create a network of social economic cooperation, and I'm offering the technology to you guys today. I'm very happy to talk about it, because I think you need it in America too. We're going to enroll it in Europe. We're talking to Germany, we're talking to Hungary, we're going to do it everywhere. You can book your holidays on this app, you can work together. So that's one of the things. The second thing is that we have launched a publishing house, and today I'm very proud that we've opened an office in the US. And my book has just been translated. It's called The COVID Conspiracy, The Globalist Takeover and the Great Reset. It's available here. I'm happy to hand all the copies I've got with me to you today, because I hope that we can also start a conversation in that way, because the media are not telling the full story. The mainstream publishing houses are often not publishing the books that need to be out there. And that's another thing that we need to be working on. We publish books, we launch documentary movies and so on. So that's another thing. The third thing we've done, I'm sure you've heard about this, the farmers are under attack in the Netherlands. And the farmers are under attack across the Western world, because if they go for our food, if they take our food, if they take control over our food, then they've got control over us. That is the key thing. Every totalitarian movement in history started off with attacking the farmers. So we wanted to do more than just plea for the farmers in Parliament, and we set up a network with farmers in the Netherlands, and we take their food directly from the land and bring it to subscribers at home so they can directly support them. We cut out the middleman, the big businesses, the supermarkets. You don't know what they're going to put into your food. There's an EU regulation now that they're allowed to add insects to foods and not have to mention it. So you're going to be eating bugs without even knowing it. So that's another thing. And finally, final thing, we've set up our own school. We set up our own school, no woke indoctrination, no climate change indoctrination, proper classical education for our kids. And that's another thing that we're so excited to share with you, because we've got the educational programs, we know what it takes, and that's one of the things that we've been doing. So I'm so excited to be here. Thank you very much. I love you all, and God bless America. Thank you.